This video is one of a series. The full series provides the complete October 26, 2016 forum involving 7 of the 8 candidates competing in the November 8, 2016 election for 3 seats on the 7-member Bergen County Board of Chosen Freeholders, the county's legislative body. The forum was hosted by Bergen Grassroots, a nonpartisan nonprofit corporation focused on keeping county residents informed about the activities of Bergen's governmental entities. Its website and this forum series are at www.bergengrassroots.org. Thank you.
The next question is going to be posed by another member of our steering committee, Allison Morrow.
The final recommendation of the county's April 2016 report on Bergen Regional Medical Center noted that the choice of an operating partner or partners will be one of the most important factors influencing the medical center's future. The county and its residents should not be rushed due to contract expiration or outside pressure. These were the recommendations of the county's report. Do you agree with the recommendation? Has anything changed since April to make this recommendation more or less important? And please explain your position.
Good evening again. Bergen Regional, obviously it's a safety net hospital that we need to hold on to. We don't need to sell it. It's very important for the residents of Bergen County. But do I agree? Yeah, I do agree. We don't need to rush into another bad contract that we had for 19 years. A terrible contract. We need more oversight in Bergen Region. The only way we're going to get that is through the negotiations. So we need to make sure that the programs that we are proposing are able to.
Why don't you give him another? He needs another.
I think you're doing it on purpose.
Where's the third one? Someone hide?
Stop my time, right? So now there is a bill in the legislation to give the county more oversight, and that is sorely needed. Bergen Regional, we need to continue. We need to make sure we increase our programs there. We need to make sure that we get things right. We don't need to rush it. We need to make sure things are done right. I think that we started way too late with this process. I know in 2014, Kathy Donovan had appointed a committee to look at it, which I believe Freeholder Nicola was on. They never met. So coming in late now to 2015, when Tedesco finally got this committee together, we don't need to be rushed. Now the hospital, now we're having the committee that's been approved. That's going to help. We need to get more veteran services. We need to get services for more addictions. Bergen Regional is probably the most important thing in Bergen County for residents who don't have a high income. So we need to protect the people. We need to protect them. We need to protect our own interests in our own people in Bergen County. Thank you.
It's interesting how, Tom, you quoted the residents need this. In 2009, with 12,000 patients there, 4 out of 5 were not county residents. 4 out of 5 were not county residents. Now, this is quoting an article that John Ensler wrote, and I trust him. Now, this hospital, as you know, it's public ownership, it's privately managed. This relationship is not working. Now, I know we're talking about the whole momentum right now is moving towards doing a new contract that's corrected, that's better. It's not going to work. We've seen litigation between both entities. They're suing each other for Medicare, Medicaid payments, for elevator costs, whatever. Now we're seeing the recent we see the allegations of patient on worker abuse, employee on patient abuse. There is so much litigation exposure to this. There are so many moving parts to a hospital. It's not like testing out a park to a private entity. A hospital is extremely complex. There's licensing. You have to give the DEA coming in once a month to look at your pharmacy. There's too much in here. The only viable method going forward to me is to sell this hospital. It's a beautiful facility. You can easily get $200 million for this thing, apply some of it towards debt, which we have like $900 million of, or apply some of it towards operating costs, and the taxpayers will see immediate relief. Thank you.
I disagree with you, Mr. Lorman. Bergen Regional is critical to the residents of Bergen County, and timing should not be the priority. Ensuring that we get the most qualified operator for Bergen Regional and having a contract with lots of oversight is what's important. Looking into the future, there's many needs that we need to look at Bergen Regional, and that should be in our contract. A pledge by the operator to put public health ahead of the bottom line. Access to the operator's financial records, as called for in the new hospital authority legislation. A commitment by the private operator to invest in the hospital infrastructure so the county isn't on the hook for capital costs, which that's what happened in the past 19-year contract. Clear and thorough safety and reporting standards for patients and staff, which already the sheriff's officer is, I know they have a lot more sheriff's officers at the campus, and they're also reporting it to the BCIA as well. A promise to work for a veterans clinic on the hospital campus would be ideal since they already have the veteran home on the campus. And then opt-out clause to get out of the contract if the operator fails their responsibilities. So it is very important, and I think we can work on it together, and with appropriate timing, this will get done, and history will not repeat itself. Thank you.
This can't be rushed. You just can't. You rush it, you're going to make mistakes. A lot of mistakes were made 19 years ago. You're the first one to say it. That hospital needs to stay there. My wife's grandmother spent some time at that hospital towards the end of her life when her Alzheimer's really took over her. Being on the Board of Trustees for Comprehensive Behavioral Health Care, it would be nice to see a consortium of them, Care Plus, Vantage, Advanced Housing, and a lot of the mental health agencies that they can work together and come up with a proposal to manage that, because they all have a vested interest in that facility. Selling it sounds great. I'm in real estate. I have a house on the market for $1 million. First, you got to find somebody willing to spend $200 million to buy property, and they're going to have to deal with Paramus when it comes to that. And that's also important, to have a resident of Paramus on this board of freeholders to be looking out for the interest of Paramus, considering the fact that hospital is going to have a drastic effect on the lives of the residents of Paramus. A vote, like our colleagues have said before, it's a safety net. There's a lot of problems in this county that need to be addressed, and a lot of them have mental health issues. The heroin addiction problem needs to be handled. You can't just say sell everything. That's not the answer to everything. Thank you.
The selling of the hospital is definitely not the answer. I don't know how many people remember, but the county sold the Hackensack DPW yard for $10 million. That was a $10 million surplus that went into the county budget. However, under Democratic control, the taxes that year and the following year for the county still went up. Selling is not the answer. Proper management, fiscal responsibility is the answer. And getting a company in there who knows what they're doing is paramount. Prior to being an educator, I was a consultant in the medical field, and actually was a consultant to Bergen County Regional Medical Center. I worked with them in setting up an aerosolized contaminating clinic to treat patients with pneumocystis carinii pneumonia. My services to them and working with them saved the taxpayers of Bergen County hundreds of thousands of dollars. I will do the same as a freeholder. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I too absolutely agree that this contract shouldn't be rushed. In fact, can't be rushed. We learned just at an open forum here last week the details and the complexity of what's involved with Bergen Regional Hospital and finding a new operator or new operators. First of all, I'm not sure everyone understands that there are varying care provided there. There's the behavioral health care, the addiction services, phases, the acute care, which is medical care, and also long-term care. There are 2 nursing homes on the property. So just in regard to what's provided there is the potential for, as was said, a number of relationships that could be developed by providers who specialize in each of those cares. Also, there is a lot that's changing. Government regulations in regard to payments is changing. Fee for service is going to add to what happens there and how the provider is reimbursed. And with the new legislation at the state, we need to have this hospital board in place. And we're going to introduce that ordinance on November 2nd, and it will be passed in December. That will give us less than 3 months to really start analyzing contracts and get this body in place. And they need to be professionals with experience in management and operations of hospitals. The last thing I want to say is it's over 62 acres. It's an incredible asset for Bergen County and to satisfy so many of the needs that we have. Thank you.
Well, I agree that we cannot, Bergen Regional is so critical to the future of public health in Bergen County and in the region, all around the region. And it is imperative that we get the new contract right. Therefore, we will not be rushed. If we're not at the point of having an absolutely good, strong contract in March of 2017, we will go on until we have a good, strong contract. I do want to emphasize that we lost time with the Republican committee, Republican-created committee that never met. But I want to repeat what we Democrats think need to be in the new contract. A pledge by the operator to put public health ahead of the bottom line. Independent and unfettered access to the hospital's books. A commitment by the private operator to invest in the hospital infrastructure, which the current operator is not doing. Clear and thorough safety reporting standards for patients and staff. A promise that moves quickly to get a veterans clinic on that hospital campus. People have been talking about that for a while. It's time to move it along. And again, an opt-out clause. So if things are going south, we can get out of that contract. Thank you.
Thank you.